All rise. Support court with Judge Vonda is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1078, McKinney case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. Okay, Ms. McKinney,
Yes, ma'am.
you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, Your Honor, I am here to try to recoup costs that I've incurred with my daughter.
All right.
She's 9 years old. She's been with me since birth, and I'm paying for everything. I've been doing it all on my own,
All right.
without a problem, but I've been doing it all on my own.
All right. And when you say all on your own, Dad isn't helping out financially at all?
At all.
Okay. And you said your daughter's 9.
Yes.
Is she involved in any type of extracurricular activities? That word always messes me up.
Yes, ma'am. Basketball, track and field, and tennis.
This case starts off with a strong emotional note. Ms. McKinney has raised her daughter alone for 9 years, and now she's asking the court for help. She claims the father has never supported them financially, not even for extracurricular activities like basketball, tennis, and track, which cost nearly $4,700 annually. That's a lot for one parent to handle.
All right. Does Dad pay for any of those?
No, ma'am.
How much are the fees associated annually with each one of those?
Annually, probably roughly $4,700.
All right. Is Dad aware that she's in these activities?
Yes.
All right. The extracurricular activities, does he attend those?
No, Your Honor.
So he doesn't pay for those.
No.
So what is the backstory? I mean, she's 9, so were you all in a relationship previously? Like what happened?
We were in a situationship for a weekend.
What in the world is that?
Well, it was a little bit more than a one-night stand. It lasted approximately 72 hours. I was on business in Washington, D.C., and he was there for a teacher's conference. I met him at a nightclub.
Ooh,
and,
I need to be careful what I ask.
Well, listen, the night grew long, and things happened within the next 72 hours. And so, yeah, that's the
Okay.
extent of it.
Okay, and you got pregnant?
Yes.
Okay.
Here comes a
What-
twist. Ms. McKinney shares that her relationship with the alleged father was just a 72-hour situationship. It wasn't a committed relationship, just a brief encounter during a business trip. And yet, from that brief moment, a child was born. The father, however, never showed up at the hospital and didn't sign any birth certificate or paternity acknowledgement.
Was he involved in the pregnancy?
Well, he was definitely there.
Well, no, throughout your pregnancy.
Oh, throughout? No, ma'am.
Okay. So you just literally had the baby, no help from him, nothing like that. Did he show up at the hospital?
No, he was late.
Okay. So did you all have a DNA test done?
No.
Does he know he's the father?
He doesn't think that he is, and he's the only Caucasian that I've ever been with, so.
Okay. So that's where the issue lies then. He doesn't
Basically.
believe he's the father, which is why he hasn't given you any money.
But he sent text messages, and he sent happy birthdays, things
Okay.
of that nature. How is she doing? So I believe if he didn't care at all, he wouldn't send those text messages. Now, he's done that for the past 9 years. I've just never seen any greenbacks to follow those texts.
Okay. So when he arrived at the hospital, did he sign the acknowledgement of paternity?
No, Your Honor, when I meant he was late, the baby was already a week old at the time. I was already at home. We'd left the hospital. That's what I mean by late.
Oh, so he didn't show up at the hospital at all?
No, Your Honor.
So he didn't sign the birth certificate or any acknowledgement of paternity or anything like that?
No.
Despite his absence, Ms. McKinney shares that he's been sending birthday messages for 9 years. No money, no presents, just digital greetings. Now that raises a big question. Is that a sign of guilt, or just a shallow gesture to keep distance without cutting ties completely?
Okay. So you're here today to do what exactly?
Well, I was hoping you would be able to help me, first and foremost, establish paternity
Okay.
at this point.
All right.
And
We
possibly
would definitely have to do that before any child support takes place.
Of course,
Okay.
of course.
All right. Is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to him?
No, that's pretty much it. I've just been doing everything on my own. In my heart of hearts, I know that he is the father. I have no doubt. I'm just needing assistance.
Okay. All right. All right. Sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is what she's saying. Now, let me be clear in my questions because I just realized that I probably shouldn't have asked that question like that. Now, bypass all the 72-hour stuff that she talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, she's pregnant.
She was.
Okay, you were not involved in that process at all in
No.
terms of the pregnancy.
Look, let me just start off by saying that most of what she said is essentially true.
Okay.
Although there's some giant omissions in there and some things that you need to take into account to get the full picture.
Well, does it involve the 72-hour
So
thing?
we were involved approximately that amount of time, yes.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't want to know any specific
don't
details
worry.
about that.
I'm not here to give you the details of it. I'm just here to tell you that we were in an intimate relationship on and off for about 72 hours, yes.
Now the alleged father speaks. He confirms their brief fling but brings in a new angle, income imbalance. He argues she earns more as a federal employee than he does as a teacher, so she doesn't need financial help. This argument seems less about responsibility and more about deflecting blame.
Yes.
Okay. So, after you found out she was pregnant, what happened?
Well, first let me add some context to everything before I answer that, Your Honor. She works for the federal government. I'm a teacher. I'm a high school teacher. She
Okay.
makes significantly more money than I do. I make about $60,000 a year. I don't know the exact figure of her annual income, but I know it's a lot more than that. She's in far better position to support her daughter than I would be, and what she's asking for.
You
for me
said
from-
her daughter, so you truly don't believe this is your child?
I am willing to accept that it may be, but we've not done a DNA test. What she said about being only with one Caucasian man, I have no way of knowing if that's true. She's lied before to me. So don't take, she was honest with a lot of the stuff she said fairly, but here's a big thing she forgot to mention. I have a son of my own. I have a newborn son, and with my fiance.
Congratulations.
What does
Thank
that
you
have
very
to do
much.
with this?
This is
Well,
what it has-
I allowed you
Okay.
the opportunity to speak. This is his time.
Yes,
And now
ma'am.
I asked you,
Yes,
was there
ma'am.
anything else you needed me to know before I moved over to
But I
him?
already know he's gonna push my buttons.
Okay, well, just sit there and don't let him push your buttons.
Okay.
That's the easy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can do that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
So I have a newborn son with my fiance, and I know that he's my son for sure. And I know, and
How do you know for sure?
Here's where things get really personal. The man claims he has a newborn son with his fiancée and knows that child is his because the baby is white. This comparison feels uncomfortable and sparks a racial and trust-based undercurrent. The court tries to maintain order, but emotions are clearly
No,
rising.
for sure.
Because he's
Well-
white.
Be-
Ma'am.
because the woman who gave birth to him has been with me and only me for the past 3 years now. That's how I know that he is my son. And he does, despite being a newborn, having a little newborn face, he does look like me. I can tell. So, but anyway, what she's asking for, she does not need financial compensation from me to support possibly our daughter. And the other factor she didn't take into consideration.
Wait a minute. Did I hear that right? Let me rewind.
Yeah, he said
that.
need.
Let me
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
rewind that. You said she does not need money from you. So let me make sure I got that right.
Because she makes so much more than me.
Right. So even if it is your child,
Right.
she still doesn't need to get money from you?
In my opinion, this is what she's doing here right now has nothing to do with needing money. It has to do with jealousy. She's trying to interfere with my relationship with my new son and my fiance.
Baby, I
By
care
bringing-
less about that, okay?
You hear what
Two
she said?
things for certain, one for sure. I care less about that.
Excuse me? I
I'm
thought we
sorry.
weren't going to allow him to
It's-
push your buttons.
I
Thank
left
you.
one button out. I'm
I've
sorry.
got buttons
Thank
Well,
you.
I've gathered all my buttons, and you ain't gonna push
Well,
them.
you
I've got a
know-
whole control panel.
Excuse
nobody
me,
asked you
excuse
that.
me. The only
You're
person
so
that's
freaking
going to be
childish.
excuse me. The only person that's going to be pressing buttons up here is me.
I'm trying not to press his head.
Tension escalates as the father accuses Ms. McKinney of filing the case out of jealousy, not necessity. That accusation hits a nerve, and emotions boil over. Judge Vander B has to step in multiple times to prevent a complete breakdown in the courtroom.
Well, we're definitely not going to do that, because then the bailiff will have to escort you out, and then I'll more than likely dismiss your case. So that wouldn't be a good thing, right? Ultimately, the both of you are here for one thing. You all want to find out if he is indeed the father of your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, sure.
Seems like a weird place to do that. I don't see a DNA kit anywhere nearby.
Oh, now
well,
you're challenging her
we do that
circumstances.
in a different area.
Stupid.
We have,
Okay.
excuse me, that wasn't very nice.
Well, it wasn't nice for him to dish your courtroom either. I'm just saying.
No,
Well-
no disrespect to your court, ma'am.
I don't take offense to that, because I don't sit up and let people push my buttons often, all right? So this is what we are going to do. We are going to reset this pending DNA results. Now, if for any reason the child does come back, well, the DNA test does come back and you are the father, you will have to start paying child support, being ordered today, all right?
Can I respond to that, Judge, if I may? We were in what amounted to a long one-night stand. We never committed ourselves to each other. I wasn't even aware that she gave birth until like a week after it happened.
Lies.
No, I was never told that.
Excuse me, Miss McKinney.
Yes, Your Honor. It's the lies.
Judge Vander B finally resets the courtroom and brings everyone back to the heart of the matter. A 9-year-old child exists, and that child deserves to be supported by both parents, regardless of how the relationship started. It's not about past feelings, it's about present responsibility.
It's the buttons. Woosah. Okay? Now, to your point, I was looking here through this Texas Family Code looking for where it says that you have to be in a relationship with somebody to not have to pay child support, and it doesn't exist.
Well, she never, said. I was under the impression, from what I remember, that she was on birth control. Now, that may be my faulty memory, but I never entered
But
into this relationship with any intention.
still, let's just be clear. Birth control or not, a 9-year-old child is here. These are the facts. A 9-year-old child is here who deserves support, not only from her mother, but from her potential father as well. So we are going to reset this matter, get some DNA testing done. So to my original thought, if you are the father, you will start paying child support being ordered as of today, all right?
The judge firmly reminds everyone, whether or not a couple was in a relationship is irrelevant when it comes to child support. A DNA test will now be conducted, and if he is the father, child support will be ordered starting immediately. The judge also opens the door for Ms. McKinney to continue her search for support if the test comes back negative.
If he is not the father, you can come back to court and petition as many people. Now, don't take that offensive. I'm not saying that you just been with everybody or anything like that, but you can come back and petition as many people as necessary, because this child, as I just stated, deserves to have the support from not only her mother, but from her potential father as well. So, do you all have any questions about what you're going to do?
No, Your Honor.
No.
No? Okay. And you have to make your daughter available for testing as well.
She's available.